Hi everyone, I'm back with another video. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to create a dashboard in Excel. So let me share you the screen first. So this is how the dashboard looks. Suppose you are working as a data analyst or a team lead or a manager in a call center and you are assigned to a task to create a dashboard to show overall performance. So in such cases, you can create this kind of dashboards. Okay. Now also if you want to upgrade your position to a higher level, then dashboard like this can really help in your career growth. So today I have picked some sample data from a call center. And if you are from a call center department, this video is going to be very helpful for you. Make sure to watch till the end and I will teach you step by step how to create this dashboard in detail. So there won't be any confusion, I guess. Okay. So here you can see at the top, you are having a slicer for the department. Whenever you select a particular department, then the overall performance for that particular department will be visible in the graphs, and as well as you can see the total calls for that particular department is 362. Now suppose if you want to select fridge department, here also you can see total calls is 325 and graphs has also changed. Now suppose if you want to select all the departments and you want to see the entire overall performance, so in such cases you can clear the filter from this option. So you can see total calls is 1772 and the graphs are also has changed. Okay. So this is how you can create a dashboard, and using slicers you can also change the output for that particular department. I hope you are now able to understand how this dashboard works. So let's get started how to create these graphs in detail. So whenever you work in a company, so you must have a basic understanding of the company's data. Okay. For example, like if you are working in a manufacturing company. Okay. So for manufacturing company, the databases usually contains production related data such as number of units produced, or you can say raw material usage, or example machine efficiency, or you can say defect rates, also like production cost per unit. So whenever you working in a manufacturing company, so this kind of data you are like dealing with. But suppose you are working in a logistic company. So what kind of data you will deal with? Okay. So similarly, if you are working in a logistic department, you will deal with supply chain data, like such as shipment schedules. So this is for logistic department. Like if you are working in a logistics department, then the data will be shipment schedules. Second is delivery timelines. And third is warehouse inventory levels. Or you can say transportation cost. Or lastly, you can say, for example, or Just a second. Or you can say order tracking status, right? So this kind of data you will deal with when you working in a logistic department. So in different different industries or departments, the data structure and the formats are different, right? So that's why understanding the company types or its data types is very important. Now, whenever you move from one domain to the another, for example, from manufacturing to logistic, then you should first take time to carefully read and understand the data set and learn what each field means and how the data is organized. Then think about what insight you can extract from this type of data. So these steps actually requires very much more attention and careful analysis. So now for the data set I have taken, let's understand each of the variables first. Okay. So in our scenario, we are dealing with call center data. So let's understand each of the column first. So for here you can see we have a date and then time, then agent, then department, answer, resolved, speed of answer, average stock duration, satisfaction rating. So this kind of data we are having here. So date actually contains the different dates from 2016 and time is actually records the time of the activity. Now here we have agent. Agent actually shows which agent handle the cases and department indicates the responsible department and for answer yes or no means that call is shows whether the call was answered or not answered. Okay. And also resolved is actually indicates whether the issue was resolved or not. And then speed of answer is basically measures how quickly the call was answered and same, the average stock duration indicates shows the average call duration and satisfaction level is actually representing how customer rated the service. Okay, so this kind of data you may have whenever you join a call center, call center or a BPO sector, which is like more professional if you see, which is comes under BPO sector. Once we have the understanding what each variable represents, it will help you to analyze the data properly and generate the meaningful insights. Okay, until unless you are not having the overall understanding of the data, you are not able to get the what kind of insights you are gathered from that particular raw data. So it is very important. You should understand the data first and then move forward with the analysis. Now, after understanding the data, there is one more important thing you need to be very careful whether your entire data is cleaned or not. Okay, so if the data is not clean, then you must perform the necessary step, that is data cleaning. So in my case, the data is already clean, so I won't be doing that part because it would take a lot of time. So since in this video we are focusing on learning how to create a dashboard, we will skip this data cleaning process for now. And I have used a clean data set so that we can finish this chapter as quick as possible. Okay. So if you want to learn about data cleaning in detail, you can comment in the comment section and I will create a separate video on data cleaning. Okay. So here we have the data and now we will convert this data into a table because there are several benefits to using the table format. So for that, what you have to do, you just click on any cell on the table, okay, and then press Ctrl T. Okay, once you press Ctrl T, then this data range will automatically be selected. Okay, now if you click on OK, see the data is converted into a table and the table name is table 1 now. So we will name it as CC call center data. So we'll write it as CC data. Okay. Now we have the proper format of the data. What is the benefit of this table? Okay. Suppose this table is not converted into a table. So what will happen if you want to find out the sum and you have to select the range manually, and then once you select the range, then you have press enter, then you are getting the value, right? But if you are converting these into a table, then what will happen? Let me show you. Now, if you want to find out the sum, so once we convert this data into a table, then we know the table name CC data. Okay, once we click on the CC data and give a second bracket, then see all the columns are coming. So now we want to find out the sum of satisfaction rating. So we can select from here and then close the bracket, and then again first bracket close and press enter. So you will get the sum. This is how you can work. Now we have converted this it into a table. Now let's see what is the objective. Okay. Here as we are learning, so we will write out the objectives. But whenever you are working in a company, then there will be certain meetings. Okay. And people will start telling you their requirements, and you have to keep like taking notes, and you have to identify what exactly their need, and then you have to find out their objective of your work. Okay, here I have already written some objective, that what actually we are trying to make, and call center performance we are trying to find out, and what are the key information we can take to like create the entire dashboard. Okay, but whenever you are working in a particular field or company, or you are working with many people, then you have to talk to them, and then you have to like ask them what is their requirement, and based on that you have to set your objective and then go for the entire project. Now suppose you are working in as a data analyst at Health Call Solution, company name, this is the company name, Health Call Solution, and asked you to analyze the call center performance to uncover the trends and highlight key matrices and identify opportunities for improvement. Okay, so your manager needs a dashboard that provides a comprehensive view or operation and agent performance, right? Now, dataset description, here just overview I have written out of the data, what actually they are meaning for each data. So here what you have to do under task 1, data summarization and matrix calculation, overall matrix. Okay. So under this data summarization, which measures you have to find out? Measures total number of calls handled, average call durations, total resolved and unresolved calls, average CSAT. So these are basically will give you a single value. That is the reason I'm calling them as measures. Okay, measures means a single value. Now for agent and team analysis, what you can find out? Total calls handled by each agent and team, average CSAT score for each agent, percentage resolved calls for each team, and department wise call analysis. Okay, now based on the dashboard the following question can be answered. Okay, so suppose someone wanted to know, and they tell you ki I just wanted to know which team has the highest resolution rate. So you can create this dashboard to make a overview, and then they can easily find out which team has the highest resolution rate. Okay, now someone asks you that to find out the top 3 agents in terms of CSAT score. So this question can be answered from that dashboard. And there are 3 more questions. Are there any pattern or trends in call duration that impact customer satisfaction? Which teams or agents require further training based on the unresolved calls and low CSAT score? and what are the actionable steps can improve call center performance. Okay, so these are the insights you can gather from the dashboard. But why I have written this? Because you can have a better understanding, but this will not be given by anyone. Whenever someone asks me that this is my requirement, this is my requirement. So if you are a data analyst, then you have to be a good listener as well. Okay. Now for chart questions, what are the questions? You can have show trends in daily sale volume over time, compare total calls handled by each agent, percentage answered calls, and percentage resolution. Display the distribution of resolved versus unresolved, and then analyze the relationship between the call duration and CSAT score. Summarize the data for the KPI values like total calls, average duration, average call duration, overall CSAT score, resolution rate, and percentage of call answered. Okay, so these are the basic requirements for the charts. Now to create the dashboard, we will use pivot tables. Okay, so for until unless you are not creating the pivot tables, the dashboard will not be interactive and you are not able to convert this into a automation. Okay, so pivot tables are very much important while creating a dashboard. Now first, what is the objective? First, we have to find out the total number of calls handled, right? So for that, we will create a pivot table. So we have to go to insert tab. Then there is an option to the left hand side as pivot table. We will click on from table range because we already have a table. So we will select and then where you want to find out your pivot table output. So I just wanted to create a new worksheet. Okay. And we will click on OK. So here we have a sheet for pivot tables or whatever the data summarization we will find out in this single sheet. So let's rename the sheet 1 as summarizes. Now let's understand about the pivot table first. Okay, we will discuss a little bit about pivot table. You can see to the right hand side, pivot table fields is shown. Like whenever you click on other cell, it is gone, right? And to get it back, we will click this portion, pivot table portion anywhere, then it will again visible to the right hand side. To begin with, our first objective is to find out the total number of calls. Okay, the total number of calls. And to find out the total number of calls, you can drag any of the variable, but I would suggest to drag date or time because these two data are system generated and there is less chance of getting an error or an empty data in the existing data. So that is the reason we will drag the time. Okay. So we will drag this time under values and it will give you the count. Okay. And this should be, there should not be other values under filters, columns and rows. Okay. These three would be blank and count of time and it will show you the total number of calls here. Now you can edit the pivot table name. Now, one more thing, if you want to change the pivot table format, you can do that. So to change the format of the pivot table, what we will do, we will click on the table and then right click and this pop-up window will appear. Then we will click on pivot table options. So once you click on pivot table options, you can see here different layout format, totals and filters, display, printing, data, all text, etc. is open. So display is not good here. So we will click on classic pivot table layout. Okay, enables dragging of fields in the grid. So once you click on this, then you will see here it is written. Now you can rename the pivot table. So if you click on the count of time, then you will see pivot table analyze tab is open and pivot table 1 you can rename it as total number of calls. Okay. And active field, you can write total calls also. You can rename it. I hope there is no doubt for this part. Now, next we have to find out the average call duration in minutes, right? So for that also we will create a pivot table. So we can directly copy paste it from here. Okay. So pivot table will be copied and then just we will change from the field part, pivot table fields part. So we will remove this field and then average call duration. So we will drag that under values. Okay. My computer mouse is not that good, so that's why it's giving me problem. Now it is counting the same, but we will change the value field setting. Now it is count of average stock duration, but we need the average of it. So we will do what? We will click on it and there will be a pop-up window and we will click on value field setting. Once you click on value field setting, there will be another pop-up where you can select the measures. So we need average for this part. So we will select average and click on OK. So this is actually a time variable. So we have to convert this into time. So from here under home, under number, we will convert this into minutes. Here it is written time. So we will click on time. See, so average call duration is actually 3 minutes 46 seconds. Okay. Now same way you can rename it. Click on this and then pivot table analyze. Then pivot table you can rename it as average call duration, and you can also rename it as the same. Okay, you got it. I hope you will not have any doubt now. Let's find out the next measures. Okay, so we are done with two measures. One is total number of calls and another is average call duration in minutes. So let's see what other measures we need to create the dashboard. So total calls, total call duration, average CSAT. Okay, so let's see here. Average CSAT is another measures we need. So satisfaction rating is the variable which we need to find out. Average CSAT. So we will drag that under values, right? Now it is currently as count of satisfaction rating. So we will click on value field setting and convert it into average and press OK. Okay. Now you can directly increase or decrease the decibel values and then we will name it as average CSAT. Same we will name it for the field value field setting and now click on OK. So next is average CSAT so that we found out, and then another is percentage answered call and percentage of resolution. Percentage answered calls is basically what we have to do. We have to make another table. Let's see count table. Let's copy this one. And here what we have to do, we have to remove this and we have to drag percentage of answer, yes or no. So that we have to find out. So answered variable, yes or no, this variable we will drag into values. Okay. And we will drag that also in counts. Yeah, sorry, rows. So here you can see answer no as 317. Now as we need it in the percentage format, we will convert this into percentage. What we can do on the numbers, you have to right click and then you can see show value as, and show value as it should be column percentage of column totals, right? So 82% call has been answered by the agents. And then next measure, what it would be, the next measure would be percentage of resolution, right? The percentage of resolution means once it is answered, then it is resolved, right? So for that scenario, what we'll have to do, we have to copy this table and then paste it once again, show value field list. We will drag a yes or no in the filters, okay, from where we will need only yes, and then resolve. So for resolve, we will drag it resolve under rows and once again under values because we need resolve type, because when you drag the resolve under rows, it will show you yes or no. Okay, and for yes count or no count, how you can get that count? You have to drag the same variable under values. So once we drag that, it will show the values. So total count of Y was 1455. Out of those count, 144 was not resolved and 1311 were resolved. So that is the reason we find out the count. Now we will convert this into percentage. So how we can do that? We will again right click and show value field and then column percentage. So you can see 90.10% calls are resolved. Okay, so almost I think we have find out all our measures. Like there are 5 measures we had to calculate. So here we have the 5 measures and how to plot them we will discuss later. For now, we are trying to calculating all the values. Next, we need a table to make this chart automated. We need a pivot table. So here also what like day basis, how many count of answers and not answered calls are visible with a trend line. So for that, we will use date function and the count of answered yes and no. Okay, so let's create that also. Let's do the pivot table again, otherwise you will not recall it. So for that, what you have to do, you have to click on any cell of the table and then click on insert and then from table range. Okay, so table range is already there, CC data, and we wanted to, previously we clicked on new worksheet, but as we already have a sheet summarizes and I want all the pivot table on the single sheet. So we will select existing worksheet and then location. Okay, so for location, I have to click on the box and I have to then go to the summarize sheet and click on any empty cell. Once we click on any empty cell, the cell reference will be visible here and then we will press OK. You can see the pivot table portion has come. Now we need date. So date must be in under row because it was visible in the horizontal like X axis. So we will bring the date over here and then what we need answer yes, no, right? So we will click that. So you can see on 1st January there were about 58 counts and then 2nd January 60 counts of calls. So we have found out the table for the line chart, and next what we have to find out, we have to find out the pie chart. So total number of resolved and unresolved percentage. Okay, the same table which we created previously. Now next, see what we have to calculate. We have to calculate this graph, right? So for this graph, what we need the agent names. Okay, here it is a different name because previously the data was different. So for names, we need the name variable, agent variable, and then here it is showing the count of answer, and then here it is the percentage. Okay, so for this chart we need another pivot table, so let's create that one as well. Insert pivot table, then existing sheet, then click on the location box, and then click here and on any empty cell, and then click on OK. Now we have to drag agent names under rows because we need all the agents on the horizontal axis, and what we need count of answer yes no. Now again we need the percentage table, so we will find that as well. How we can find that? So here we need a percentage for yes and no for both, so we will drag that under column. Okay, so here GAN total is visible, yes no, all everything is visible. Next, what we have to do, we have to calculate the percentage. So we will show now as percentage of row total. Okay. So Arav Sharma, 15% call was not answered by Arav Sharma, and 84% calls were answered by Arav Sharma. Now another table we need for only the calls which are answered. So for answer only, we want to select the answered calls as yes. So we will drag that column under filters, and from that we will only select yes calls. Okay. And then percentage of resolved calls. So we will drag that under values, and then again we will drag that under columns. Okay. Now or whatever the call has answered, like there are Arav Sharma answered total 186 calls, and out of which 169 was resolved and 17 was not resolved. Okay, and now we will find out the percentage for this. So show value as percentage of row total. So this is our final answer for this. Now we almost have all the required measures or tables to create the graphs. Now let's see if we left something. Okay, so this one we already done. This table I have. This, for this I also have a table. But for this we don't have a table. We need a satisfaction rating, and which customers are satisfied and giving a good rating based on timing or the call duration. So in such cases also we need one more pivot table, but this graph cannot be created by the pivot table. Okay, for that you have to drag the pivot table values in a different cell. So let's do that part as well. So this is a scatter part. Now for this, what we need one more pivot table. So click on insert, data range, existing sheet. Let's find it here. Okay, and no, let's find it here and click on OK. Now average satisfaction rating should be under values, and another we need average stock duration. Based on average stock duration, what was the customer satisfaction rating, right? So this is, and also we need filter for yes counts, and then click on OK. Okay, now you have the values, but from this you are not able to create the scatter chart. So for that, what you have to do, you have to bring the data from here. rest we can remove. Now here you can see these are coming as values, but we need it as time. So we will select that and click on time. So it will be same as it is. Now almost everything is ready to create the dashboard. So let's start by creating the dashboard. So to create a dashboard, we need a separate sheet. So add another sheet and rename it as dashboard. So we have created a dashboard sheet. Now, before we create our dashboard, let's first remove the grid lines. Okay, so these lines on the Excel sheet are known as grid lines. Let's remove them to improve the overall visualization. So to do this, go to the View tab here and then uncheck this grid line option, and then all the grid lines will disappear. Okay, now what we will do, we will select a slide portion. Let's take this much. Okay, and then go to home and let's make it as light gray. Okay, so why I'm doing this, because it will give you a better visualization, and also for this background of the dashboard, I would suggest to use the light colors only, as I did. Don't go for the dark colors like this. So make it as a professional dashboard. I would suggest to give a light colors. Don't use the dark colors. Now let's create the heading of the dashboard. So as we are like trying to visualize the call center performance, so we will make it as a call center performance dashboard. So to give a heading, what we have to do, we have to click on Insert tab and then go to Shapes and select a rectangle from there. And you will see one cursor is there, like it is a black plus sign. So you have to click somewhere and keep pressing it and drag. Okay, once you're dragging it and then make it free, now you can type anything on this blue rectangle. So for this, what we have to write, so this is a call center performance dashboard. Now let's correct the alignment. So we can do that from home tab under alignment section, make it in the middle at the center. Now it is, and you can also increase the font size if you want. Let's make it 18. Okay, you can keep it as 18. Now, next, what you have to do, let me copy that in here so that we should not forget anything to add. Now we have to do another rectangle box. Okay, so let's add that as well. So insert once again and then select the rectangle shape box. Once you click on this and then click on the formula bar, give equals to, and from the summarization table we want to bring the value 172, right? So we will click on OK. So the value is in the square box. Now what we will do, we will write in the at the beginning as total calls, and then press shift and enter. It will be in the next line. Now make it aligned in the center and the middle. Now you have to keep control and then drag it. Okay, and then release, and then again press control and then again drag the square box and then again unpress it. Okay, so this is how the box you can enter multiple times. So we will need 5. So 5, we will copy 5 values. Now here in this box, what we have before. Now we will click on the call duration. So here is the call duration. So press enter. Now you can see here call duration is there. So it is average call duration. Now shift enter, and then next is average CSAT. So we have to change that from the formula bar, not from the box. Okay, then press it. Then it is average CSAT, average CSAT, and then shift enter. It will be in the next line. Now again, percentage of calls. So percentage of calls is equals to, then go to summarizes, percentage of calls is answered as yes, that is 82%, then press. Now you can give the name again as percentage of answered calls. Okay, here it is also done, and the last is percentage of resolution, right? Next, once again, we have to remove this as percentage of resolution from the number of calls answered is 90.10%. Then you can also once again edit it percentage of resolution. Shift enter. Now we have this, so we can now five rectangle boxes take this much of place. So we can decrease the heading of the dashboard. Okay. And also we can no fill, make it no fill because we don't need this portion of area. We know how much we need it now. Okay. Now we can align those controls, select all. Now, once you select all the rectangle box, you can align them as per like there is a gap between total calls and average call duration a bit more than space between average call duration to average set. So these spaces can be equal by aligning. So what you can do, you can just click on page layout, and once you click on page layout, you can see there is a option as align. So once you click on align, there is a distribute horizontally. So you can click on that. So it will be distributed horizontally and then distributed vertically. So it is also vertically aligned. And then once again, if you want to align them in the middle, so they are also aligned in the middle. Okay. Now there will be equal spaces between those rectangle boxes. Now you can unselect them. And if you want to change the format, then you can do that as well. What you can do, go to home and then writing as white. And if you want to make it bold, you can do that. So we have all the measures with us now. And now if you want to move them together up and down, then also you can do that. So we need a slicer at the top of those rectangles. So for that, we need some space at the top. So we will drag them a little bit lower and we will keep some space for the slicer at the top. Okay. Now you can click on other cell and it will be unselected. Now next, what we have to do, we have to find out a graph. So for this, which table we need? We need a table from, now what you have to do, you have to select this data and then you have to, we will not select the grand total, only the data values, and go to pivot table analyze and go to pivot chart, and under pivot chart go to line, and this is a trend line. Okay, now you can click on this and you can cut from here and paste it here. Now you can give a name to this chart. What type of chart is it? So under chart, there is a question show trend in daily call volumes. So for this purpose, we created that trend line graph, line chart. So we have to copy this and then we will give a heading here. Okay, and it is gone, so we can bring it back as chart title. Now we can edit it. Control A, Control V, and make it as trend line. Trends in daily call volume over time, right? Make it smaller, and now it is done. Okay, now you can change the design for this graph if you wanted to change the shadow. Okay, from shadow it would be under chart options, then you can give a shadow to that uh, graph, and if you want to change its fill, so you can fill that as this blue, gray. Let's do this one. Okay, so this is how you can create this graph. And next is, let's create the pie chart first. For the pie chart, what you have to do, you need counter resolution. So resolution table is which one? This one, right? So for this one, you have to select the data and pivot table analyze, then pivot chart, and then under there is a pie chart section. So you can click on this and then cut it and paste it here. Okay. Now, once you bring this here, you can resize it as per your choice and how much area you want to give for this particular graph. It is absolutely up to you. It is absolutely your choice what kind of color you want to put and what kind of like overall structure you want. So everything it depends on you. So you can give as per your choice, but it should be professional. So I like to give light colors to the background, so that's why I choose light gray here. If you want to choose other light colors, you can free to use that. So let's change the color for this graph as well. So this one, and here you can see there is no shadow. If you want to give the shadow, then double click on the graph. Window will appear to the right hand side, and from here you can see under chart option there is a effects. So under effects, you can give perfect shade from this section, right? Yes. Now let's keep it like this. Now two more graphs we are left with. Okay. So if you want to show the count and as well as the percentage of those variables counts. So in that case, what you can do, you can create two pivot tables separately and bring the data in a single table, and then you can create the graph for three bars. So for that purpose, what we have to do, here we have counts and here we have percentages. But in a single table, that was not possible, right? So we will bring that data here. So how we can do that? So we will name it as combined data. Let's rename it combined data from other pivot table. So for combined data from the other tables and for this graph, we need the name first. So names are like this. And so we will copy and paste them. Or you can directly use equals to and then press enter and then drag it. Okay. So Swati Singh grand total. These three we don't need. And to bring the other values, what you have to do, you have to click on the value and you will press enter, then drag it. Okay, just a second. Now next, what you need percentages of answer. So this is our actually count of answer. And this is actually our count of answered yes or no. And this is actually our percentage of resolved. This is resolved. Now, and now we will make it percentage, and then we will drag it like this. And then again for this part also we will bring that get pivot, and then bring this and make it as a percentage. Okay, now we have all the values. Now once we have the combined table, we can directly give equals to and the values. But in that case, what will happen that under dashboard, if you create a graph, then it will not be automated. So for that purpose, we need those values from the table as a get pivot data. So on that particular case, the slicer will work properly. Okay, so that is the reason we just not get the data by clicking equals to and that cell value. We will bring the data using get pivot data. Okay. Now, once we have the combined table, what you will have to do, you have to select the data and go to insert, and then there is a small arrow under charts. We will click on that all charts and combo chart. This is also cluster column. This is also cluster column, and this is also cluster column. Like primary axis only for the count of answer yes and no, but secondary axis as the other variables is in percentage, so we will keep those in the secondary axis, and for the count of answer no in the primary axis. Okay, so the graph will look like this. Now click on OK. Once you press it, you can see this is a cluster chart. Now you can cut it and paste it here. Let's resize it. And then chart type. Chart name can be cluster chart. Okay. And what is it showing actually? Let's see. So can you see compare total calls handled by each agent, percentage of answered calls and percentage of resolution. So to show this, we have used this cluster bar chart. So what we can do, you can give this name in the title. So total calls handled by this. So you can directly, and instead of cluster chart also you can give this name, right? Total calls handled by each agent. Okay, and also legends are available. So you can see blue bars are basically indicating count of answered yes or no, and orange is answered yes only, percentage of answers, and green bars are basically for how many calls are resolved. So this is how the graphs looks like. Now once we have this, then we can design it as per our choice. Let's put the color as home and this. Okay, now we can shade it a bit, otherwise it will not look good. Double click on it and then go to effects and give a shade like this. Now do this entire outer. Okay. Now once we have this, there is another graph, satisfaction rating. So for that it is easy. For scatter plot, what we have this table. But here I think, did a slight mistake because we have count of satisfaction rating, but it should not be count of satisfaction rating. It would be simple as the row labels as average call duration and corresponding rating. Okay, it would be simple data, not any calculation or summarization of the table. So for that, what we will do, we will bring that from values to rows. Once we click on that, what we'll have, we have this format. So we will change the format. So we will go to design and then go to report layout. no repeat values, do not repeat item values, and there is a show in a tabular form. And once you click on tabular form, okay, now what we have to do, we have to repeat the values. So what we will do, we will click on repeat all items. Okay, and we will remove this total part. So for that, what we will do, go to pivot table options, totals, and untick it. Uncheck, click on OK. Okay, it is not gone. So what we can do, we can click, right click, and then there is a subtotal, average stock duration. We can untick that. Okay, once we untick, it will be disappear. Okay, now it is disappeared. Now we have a proper format of the data. Now we select this table and then go to insert and then create a scatter chart. Okay, now we have a perfect scatter chart. Then Control X, cut it and paste it here. Now resize it as we have the other graphs, and then satisfaction rating is there. So we don't have to do anything, and then just change the color of the graph. No fill. Okay. Now we have the graph, and let's make shadow a bit so that it looks good. Double click and then go to shadow and give a shadow to it. Now everything is done, right? Now we need slicer to make a automation for the other people who just wanted to see the particular department or the department or two to three departments. So for that, what we have to do, we have to click on any graph. Okay. First, what you have to do, you have to click on any graph, then go to insert, and then there is a slicer option. So once you click on slicer, then there is a table showing the different headings which you have in the raw data, right? So from that raw data, in which variable do you want to create the slicer or you want to apply the slicer? So I just wanted to take the department because people requirement is like that. They wanted to check the department wise performance. So in that case, they can filter it out using department. So we will add department and then click on OK. Okay, so now we have a slicer and it is in a, single column, or we can say it is in a vertical format, but we want horizontally because we want to adjust this slicer here horizontally. So here we have a single column and we have how many departments? Five departments. So five departments should be go in a five columns, right? So for that, what you can do, under slicer, there is a columns name. So you can type it as five and this slicer format will be changed like this. Now you can drag this and make it larger and resize it. And let's put it here. So we can insert one row and then we can drag it. Now it is perfect, right? Now you can see if we select air conditioner, only this graph is changing, but all the graphs we want to change. For that, what we have to do, we have to connect all the values to this slicer. So what you can do, you can just right click and then like you have to click on the slicer first and then right click and you can see the report connection option as report connection. Once you click on it, and then you can see the different all the pivot tables are visible. To click on them all, if you wanted to like keep this graph unchanged while selecting the departments, then that also you can do. You just don't have to select that pivot table. Otherwise, if you want to apply the slicer all the graphs or measures, then you can select other pivot tables. So for now, let's select all of them, right? For now. So select all of them and then OK. Now if you click on this, all the values will change automatically. See? right? So for air conditioner, number of calls resolved is 8% and 92% were resolved. And this is the scatter plot, and this is the calls handled by each agent from that department. These are the people who was from air conditioner department, and this is their chart. Maximum call was 60, it is showing, and this is the trend line, and there is the answered call percentage, resolution, average CSAT, average call duration, etc. And now if you want to select all the departments, then just click on this filter, like clear filter option. Then once you click on it, all the filters will gone. Now one more thing you have to do, like if you suppose you don't want to change this graph, okay, this graph or scatter chart. For that scenario, what you can do, you can right click and report connection, go to report connection, and then you can from here you can select total number of calls. Suppose this square box you don't want to apply the slicer, so like this total calls. So you can uncheck it and then click on OK. And whenever you apply filters, all the other values will change or graph will change, but this value will not change. That's how you can create the connection from the pivot tables and the slicers, and how you can make a data visualization like this. Okay. So this is all about how to create the dashboard, and this is the basic I have created, but you can like develop this single dashboard in a better way. And whatever the steps I have shown, this will be similar for all the dashboards. Just you have to improve yourself, and you have to check and you have to be a bit more artistic, so that your dashboard looks more professional, and it is not a single day job. Once you step into the field, then once you start creating the dashboard, and day by day your structure, your design, everything will improve day by day. This is not a single day job, right? A basic dashboard I have created for you to understand how exactly you can automate your tasks, and how you can directly connect your charts to your data, and then data visualization, and you can simply share this dashboard to the higher authorities, and they can simply just observe the graph and everything, and they can find out whatever their requirement. So that's why it is very important to learn these kind of dashboards. I hope you will not have any doubt. And if you have any doubt, you can let me in the comment section. I will try to respond each of the comments and clear your doubts. And if I missed anything, that also you can let me know that, ma'am, can you teach me this part? So I will try to create on those like topic as well. So let's end this video here. Okay. Thank you for watching, and bye. Take care.